I just don't see that happening. We've been down this road 20 years. I know, Mr. Mitchell, you've only been here a little bit, but I've been here 38 years, and it's very frustrating to keep rehashing it over and over. And I hate to say that the benefit assessment doesn't work. Sierra County is getting out of it. It doesn't work, and there's no equity. People can bring in 10 cans, and this guy only brings in one, but they all pay the same rate. There's no incentive to recycle because it's free. Take it to the dump. You can dump as much as you want, as often as you want. No incentive to recycle, and it's not an equitable situation. We've had this system in Mendocino County for years. It's working well. I think you heard it from the board members today. Our solid waste is in good shape. We have some low tipping fees. You do have 2 good haulers within this county with good track records. We've stepped up and we've done the job, and all we're trying to do is get in partnership here to lower costs and do a better job for the ratepayer and the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. We've had quite a bit of discussion at the board level, staff, and one company. I'd like to open it up to the public. Is there any members of the public that would like to speak to this issue to provide that point of view? Please step forward, state your name, and attempt to stick to the 3-minute rule, please. Thank you.
My name is Sheila Kinney. I work at the Casper Transfer Station, and I appreciate the fact that you guys have allowed me a chance to ask some questions. In all that's gone on through here today, I realize that there are still a lot of unanswered questions on both sides. But as far as the meetings with all the site attendants that we've been really happy with our service that we do get from other people. But we feel at this time that right now we are providing the best service that we can to the county. And there are items that have changed recently that raise the question, at least as far as what I know from the job that I do, that we're making the county money that is going into the general fund, and why do you want to get rid of something that's making the county money? And that seems to be a general consensus with all our site attendants, not just me. Fortunately, I was able to come over today and attend the meeting, and I would like to see, everybody get on the same page as far as the figures are concerned, because there are a lot of discrepancies in that proposal that no longer hold true. And as long as we can get those addressed, then I think we can really go forward on this. But I just want to let you know that we do really want to keep our jobs within the county system. And thank you for letting me speak.
You bet. Thank you. Other members of the public wishing to address this issue, proposal of privatization.
I thank you for the time.
Your name?
John Graff, Graff. And I am speaking for the Employers Council of Mendocino County. I think that the Board of Supervisors this year and maybe for several years to come are going to be challenged with the budget. And I think it's time to really look at I can't say that word.
Privatization.
Thank you. Every place you can, whether that be trash collection, whether that be veterinarian services, because we really are going to need to get the budget down where the income can cover the expense. And it's just reality. As we all know, when you go farther up the line in government, the problem with the budget gets worse, and we have found over the years that getting more money doesn't necessarily solve the problems either. One of the supervisors, Mr. Kovacs, was talking earlier about the complexity of it. The other opportunity that you would have is the more privatization that you go to, would allow you the ability to not deal with those issues, and the people in the private sector could then deal with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Groff. Other members of the public wishing to speak to this issue?
Hello,
Good afternoon.
my name is Dot Faree. I'm a political organizer with SEIU 10 to 1. On what I just heard here, my main reason for being here is I don't agree with that statement that privatization is the way to go, nor do our unions. The reason for that is privatization often sends people into poverty and without jobs. Regardless of what you said earlier, Johnny, putting a job in privatization and a private industry is not the same as transferring an employee in the county from one department to another. It's completely different. And if you want to do a little research on that, you'll find out that employees who are moved out of their public jobs all the time either lose their jobs, they lose their benefits, and they lose their wages, and they lose their retirement. That is not a question, and there's plenty of information on that. So I encourage you to look at that and consider that. How far are you willing to go with privatization of county jobs? And where and when will you draw the line? You say 20 people this time. How many people next time? 30, 40? How many after that? It goes on and on. You need to draw the line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Eva Kieser. I work for Solid Waste Division, but I'm here speaking as a public citizen. Because the document is a public document, there's just some clarifications I'd like to make for probably Mr. Delbar. And because I am an employee there, I don't want you to leave here today with the impression that our response was slanted. 6 times within the proposal, the county subsidy issue was mentioned, and in fact, on one particular page, it was the formula by which the subsidy would be brought about was mentioned. So when you're operating in the dark somewhat of trying to answer a proposal, and throughout it, on page 6, of 6 of the agreement, on page 7 of the proposal, on page 8 of the proposal, on page 11 of the proposal, on page 12 of the question and answers, all mention the county subsidy. So basically, solid waste was in kind of the dark in its attempt to address what may occur with this proposal. On another issue about turning over information to solid waste systems, we did provide the information that was regarding the budget that Mr. Ward spoke of, that it was on public record. Also in that budget, on the very bottom of in the budget book, our revenue is outlined by each site. It is separated, so that is some information he could have gotten himself. As far as the site attendants, all of their class specifications are listed on the HR website. He is aware, he works closely, his company knows Jan Rasmussen, who is our South Coast site attendant. So that information, as best as we could do, was provided to Mr. Ward. The hauling, cubic yards, the tons disposed of, all of that, he had just as much access to as we do.